A plane carrying 242 people has crashed at an airport in India.
Race should not be the primary criterion or probably a criterion at all. People should be appointed based on merit.
Debating the merits or otherwise of B-BBEE. 138 million children are engaged in child labour globally, more than 500,000 of them here in South Africa. Hello, I'm Jane Dutton.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent.
But first this, Underworld murder accused and security company owner Andre Naudé has been shot and killed in Parow in the Western Cape. The attack comes 7 months after another Underworld figure, Mark Liffman, was shot and killed in George. An Air India aircraft with 242 people, including crew on board, has crashed in Gujarat while on its way to London. Police claim that only one person survived the crash. The UK government says more than 50 of those on board the aircraft are British nationals. The bodies of 3 young people who died in a light aircraft crash in KwaZulu-Natal will undergo postmortems in Richards Bay today. The victims were part of a 3-plane formation flying from Virginia Airport in Durban to Pretoria on Sunday. 2 of the aircraft went missing that afternoon and were only located the following day. While one crash resulted in no fatalities, the second, found in dense bush, claimed 3 lives. The victims have been identified as student pilot Nkobile Biela, fellow pilot Lulama Msane, and student doctor Sipesihle Buthelezi. The death toll from the Eastern Cape floods has risen to more than 60. Many survivors have lost their homes in the floods. Search and rescue operations resumed this morning, with crews expected to continue combing through areas like De Colony and Joe Slovo, west of Mthatha. 4 children are still missing after a 22-seater minibus they were travelling in was swept away by floodwaters. A mother of a 14-year-old boy who was missing in that bus says she's relieved that his body has been found. She asked rescue teams to turn his face toward her, needing to make sure it was him.
There were 3 kids that are at the hospital. I move here, go to hospital. I found out that there is no one like mine there. It was so bad. Even the family, we feel like we don't know. It's bad.
In KZN, which has also been hard hit by bad weather and rains, at least 68 schools have been badly damaged in the weather.
Remember, we've got an exam timetable and schedule, which is incredibly tight. So these kids were actually, many of them were writing June exams. So we have to make sure that we've already postponed the 2 exams that were being written. We have to make sure that we make contingency plans for them.
Police have dismissed a claim of a second suspect being arrested in connection with the murder of 14-year-old Lekona Forse. That's after Public Safety MMC Mklini Chwaku announced that a second suspect had been arrested. The teen's mutilated body was found in an open veld not far from her home in Durban Deep, west of Johannesburg. On Wednesday, 39-year-old Mduduzi Mnisi, who was arrested for the crime earlier this week, made his first appearance at the Roodepoort Magistrates Court. As the Agriculture Department prepares for the mass vaccination of cattle to contain an outbreak of foot and mouth disease, Minister John Steenhuisen has assured consumers the country's red meat is safe to eat. The outbreaks in Gauteng, KwaZulu-Natal and Mpumalanga have stopped exports to China. The department hopes vaccines will arrive from Botswana later this month to inoculate 900,000 livestock at a cost of 42 million rand. Steenhuisen says he'll be gazetting stricter regulations governing auctions and the movement of animals in the coming days.
You have farmers who are conducting auctions in disease management areas, who are being reckless with the way in which these auctions are being conducted, and then sending out from those auctions animals that have not been properly screened or traced or their origin being determined. You do economic damage.
Debate continues around the effectiveness of broad-based black economic empowerment, with some minority groups arguing the policy has failed to deliver its intended outcomes. A new study released by the think tank Free Market Foundation and minority lobby group Solidarity outlines the costs associated with B-BBEE compliance. The report claims that the policy has primarily benefited a small group of elite black individuals while neglecting broader objectives.
Previous studies estimate that South Africa's black middle class comprises between 4 to 6 million individuals with an annual spending power of more than 400 billion rand. Although this represents only a small portion of the overall black population, this growth is largely credited to inclusion efforts driven by B-BBEE policies. Head of policy at the Free Market Foundation, Martin van Staden, argues that race has been used to benefit a specific group within society rather than promoting a more inclusive approach.
Race should not be the primary criterion or probably a criterion at all. People should be appointed based on merit.
Solidarity's report states that the growth of the black middle class is clear, but asserts that B-BBEE has led to greater inequality within the white population.
As of 2024, around 138 million children were engaged in child labour globally. The United Nations theme for this year, World Day Against Child Labour, is to speed up efforts to eradicate child labour. That's after the goal that was set in 2015 was not met. A report done by the International Labour Organization shows that child labour remains a persistent challenge in South Africa, with approximately 571,000 children engaged in various forms of work that negatively affect development and well-being.
Child labour continues to persist because of the combination of poverty, inequality. We're in a situation of limited access to quality education, particularly in rural and informal settings. So while we have laws in place, they're not being implemented consistently, and especially in those informal sectors.
The pre-trial in the murder case of rapper Kiernan Forbes and entrepreneur Tebelo Motswane has been adjourned to next month. The 5 men accused in the high-profile murder case returned to the Durban High Court today for a pre-trial conference. The matter couldn't continue because of some outstanding issues in the case. Forbes and Motswane were killed in Durban's popular Florida Road while leaving a restaurant in 2023.
The matter then, Mr. Mkhwanazi, Mr. Ndimande, Mr. Nieza, Mr. Kwabeni and Mr. Ndimande is adjourned to 24 July 2025. 24 July 2025, it must be here by 9:30 and you'll remain in custody.
Beijing has hailed improving ties with the Vatican after the first appointment of a Chinese bishop under Pope Leo XIV. Beijing's foreign ministry said the naming of the first Chinese bishop under the new pope had, quote, enhanced understanding and mutual trust through constructive dialogue with the Vatican. The Vatican and China do not have formal diplomatic relations because the Holy See recognizes Taiwan, the self-ruled island that Beijing claims as its own territory. And look out for our interview with South Africa's Cardinal, who was in the Vatican City voting for the newest pope. See you for more again tomorrow.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent.